When you hear the word pharmacy, one of the things that is a mainstay is staying up to the times, specifically the Pharmacy Times. And that is what I am so excited to dive into today on this episode of Behind the Brand on the Fit Pharmacist Healthcare Podcast, the story of Pharmacy Times.
I see my victory so clear. I see my victory so clear. And today, we break through. And today, we break through. And today, we break through. And today.
Guys, I am so excited. And this is like, I don't know, kind of like the inner pharmacist coming out and just getting super stoked for this, because I started following Pharmacy Times back when I was a pharmacy student, getting ready to take the boards. And then when I was a first newly minted pharmacist back in 2012, this resource has been such a mainstay for my career development. And I've had the opportunity to go to Pharmacy Times headquarters, meet the amazing people that make all of the information and magic truly happen. And I'm just truly honored to welcome to the Fit Pharmacist Healthcare Podcast a dear soul in pharmacy, Ed Cohen, who is a PharmD and the Executive Vice President of Pharmacy Advocacy. My friend, welcome to the podcast.
Thank you, Adam, and it's great to be here today. I hope that we have enough time to tell the whole story about Pharmacy Times and how we work every day to make a difference in the practice of pharmacy.
And you most certainly do, both yourself and the organization that you are a part of. And guys, that's what's super exciting, is a lot of times when you see publications or organizations or companies in pharmacy or trying to, influence, not all the people there have a background in pharmacy. So that's what I'm really excited to start with, because Dr. Cohen, you are a PharmD. So right now you're big in Pharmacy Times and leading that forefront to get all of the cutting edge information and all of the advocacy that you're doing for our profession. But you didn't start there. So can you just give us a walkthrough of your career in pharmacy, where that started and how you ended up being such a huge part in Pharmacy Times?
Well, it all started a long time ago, as you can see from the gray hair. I chose pharmacy back in high school. My first job was a delivery boy at a drugstore, and a stock boy, delivery boy for $1.25 an hour. And I enjoyed it and never left. I graduated pharmacy school from the University of Illinois. I'm born and raised in Chicago, never left, have had 3 careers, 2 different degrees in pharmacy, all in the Chicago area. So I went to the University of Illinois, graduated with my Bachelor of Science in Pharmacy, had an opportunity to go off to California to get a PharmD way back in the 70s. Family issues and things prohibited me at the time from doing that. So when I graduated pharmacy school, community practice was in my veins. I always wanted to own a store, and off I went on that journey to be a pharmacist and to own my own pharmacy. First career in pharmacy, of course, was owning my own store. I got to do that for about 13 years. Of course, the big chains were growing at the time, coming into the marketplace, and we had to consolidate and eventually went out of business because the chains came into our area. And far be it, if you can't beat them, you join them. So when my store did change and went out of business, the next stop was to go to work for the chains. About a year there, and then didn't quite enjoy it as much as I thought I should enjoy it, and moved on to grocery pharmacy, where I became director of pharmacy for a group of stores in Chicago. They have since gone out of business as well, but at the peak, we had 125 stores. I was director of pharmacy and all the pharmacy operations and clinical initiatives. We really had some fun and did some great things at that time. We were one of the first in the country to immunize. So back when APHA developed their certificate program back in the middle 90s, we embraced that and trained all our pharmacists to immunize, and provided that service in the 90s with roster billing. Wasn't even able to put it in the computer at the time. So interesting story there. But of course, as life changes and goes on, you never give up a good thing. So worked for Walgreens for a while, didn't quite enjoy the role I had. When my grocery days were over, I went back to Walgreens and had a position there in their corporate offices where I worked on clinical programs for the better part of 10 years. While at Walgreens, I was also their liaison to this publication called PharmacyTimes. And I got to sit on their editorial advisory board and meet with the group at PharmacyTimes regularly. And one day, one thing led to another, and a conversation took place, and I became an employee of PharmacyTimes and left Walgreens after 10 full years. Been with PharmacyTimes for 5 years now, and in my role and responsibilities, I'm responsible for business development, innovation, all of our external relationships in the pharmacy community, which includes all of the associations of pharmacy, retail, schools of pharmacy, all of the alphabet of pharmacies, I call it, the associations. And then now we're getting into the technician space, and we'll talk a little bit about that as we go forward on. But right now, it's a great ride. I feel like a kid in a candy store because I have the whole world of pharmacy right there in front of me, and I do my very best to bring that to our readers and to surely make an influence and an impact on the profession itself.
Wow. Have you written a book yet?
Because no, I have a few stories out there, and a couple of volunteer jobs along the way. I've been featured in a couple of journals and different things, but no, I haven't written a book. I'm saving that since I don't golf. As a pharmacist, a left-handed pharmacist, by the way, golfing and I don't get along, so I think I'll save the writing of the book till I formally retire, and I can tell the whole story.
Duly noted. Wow, your breadth and depth of experience are so truly inspiring, especially as what I would call an influencer in the profession. And what you have practiced through your years as a tremendous pharmacist with so much depth and breadth, as I mentioned, it hinges on two main core components from what you shared, and that is to innovate and advocate. And in my humble opinion, if you don't have that, you will not survive in the profession, especially in the times of today when things change so drastically. I mean, just look at the last year in 2020 and everything going on. But something that just really fascinates me is that the brand of PharmacyTimes has you on that board directing in so many different areas. And I think that really speaks a volume about what PharmacyTimes is about and the tremendous value because it's so authentic. You've walked the talk and you continue to do that with the relationships that you earned through the time that you put in and service you've given to your patients and the profession. And this actually leads me to a really important point that is one of the reasons I wanted to have you on the Fit Pharmacist Healthcare podcast. And that is that most people, when they hear PharmacyTimes, they think, oh, the magazine. But there's more to that story. So that's kind of where I want to direct this to is, can you really tell us what PharmacyTimes is, what it's all about, and what it does to serve the profession of pharmacy and healthcare overall?
Well, first and foremost, yes, we are a publication. We are a publication that is delivered monthly to all pharmacists across the country. We've been in business as PharmacyTimes since 1897.
Wow,
that's a number. Yeah, I think they used to use one of those machines and crank by hand to print the original PharmacyTimes publication. But since 1897, we've prided ourselves on embracing innovation, embracing change, and providing practical information to pharmacists. So what we pride ourselves on doing is three main things. In whatever media we choose, we provide you with information we feel you should know. We help you understand why you need to know this, and then we help you to embrace this information to impact patient care. So why are we teaching you this? Because the goal, of course, is to increase your capabilities to provide services to your patients and keep chronic disease from exacerbating, et cetera. So as life changed over the years, so has PharmacyTimes. So we originally were a print publication with the, I can't take credit for the advent of the internet, but the internet came. So we had to get on the internet as well. And we do have a robust offering of digital content. The world of pharmacy continued to grow and evolve. It was community pharmacy, then it was health system pharmacy, specialty pharmacy, and then it was into the roots, the grassroots of pharmacists, student pharmacists, pharmacy technicians. So we have publications today, print publications that are also offered on our digital site that address all of those different areas of practice, number one, community, health systems, and specialty. And then we address the community pharmacist, the health system pharmacist. We address all members of the staff with their own dedicated resource and flow of information and education. So if they need to support a certification or a certificate program or something that's included in their licensure, we have education that will meet all of those needs. We offer print, digital, and also video. So as you're recording this today and you'll have a podcast, you're also putting it on YouTube as a video. We do all of the same things. We have our own in-house studio, just an amazing studio. God knows what we can do everything in there.
Oh, it's absolutely incredible. Yeah, I mean, I had the honor to go there a couple of years ago, and wow, literally, I think it was just completed, like right after I got there.
Yes.
And literally, it was like I was like jaw dropping, like wow, like it was incredible. So it's definitely state of the art.
You don't think about the stuff that goes into a studio, airflow and noise, and vibration, and it controls for. I mean, we spent the extra time and resources to ensure that it's truly a world-class operation. So I'd like to transition a little bit to let you know that PharmacyTimes is part of a larger organization called MJH Life Sciences. So MJH Life Sciences is the largest privately held for-profit multimedia company in the United States today. We pride ourselves on being able to offer not only pharmacy publications, but we address the needs of the entire continuum of healthcare professionals, from doctors, specialties, you name the specialty, dermatology, eye care, neurology, and it goes on and on. We have publications, probably number of 60 plus different publications that we offer. Each publication is in print first, and then has a digital component second, a digital website as well, and then live and video offerings included in their book of business. So we really go all out to meet the end user where they would like to meet us and provide that content in an array of media that would make just about everybody happy.
And you most certainly succeed at that. And that's something that I have seen through the years as a consumer of PharmacyTimes, back when I was a pharmacy student and first heard about you guys. And what really fascinated me, and one of the things that attracted me to your brand and how you guys meet the end consumer, the pharmacist, to advance patient care, is that you meet them where they are. And I think while that seems so simple, it's so often overlooked, and it causes a lot of frustration for pharmacists looking to drive outcomes for patients, or organizations looking to help their consumer or grow their business or whatever that might be. And that has to do with innovation, both in technology and the rate at which it would advance. And just like you had mentioned earlier, you started traditionally as a print publication, got online to social media, and then you started to change with online with video. You actually have your own podcast as well, which I've had the honor to be a part of and help to give you guys some support and whatnot along the way. But
and we appreciate that, by the way.
Oh, it's phenomenal.
Thank you for that.
Oh, my pleasure. Yeah. Miss Jill does phenomenal work. So again, that will be in the show notes as well. You guys that are listening or watching this on YouTube, you definitely need to subscribe to their podcast, because like I said, they put out phenomenal content with leaders across the world. in that industry to lead that. So again, it's just something that fascinated me and really drew me both as a consumer and as a, I guess you could say, influencer in pharmacy, with helping people to meet that end goal that they have. Is you meet them where they are and you're constantly pivoting. And for a large company, most of the times what you see is it takes a long time to, quote, get with the times. But play on words, PharmacyTimes, that's one of the things you guys excel at, is you are really good at pivoting quickly to meet people where they are, to see where's our audience, where is our consumer looking to be serviced, where are they spending time, and how can we use our resources to either meet them there or create and innovate so that we can advocate for their needs, for where they need the best assistance. And that's something that I just want to commend you with, because it's just really incredible just in and of itself, but as such a large organization that Michael J. Hennessy Associates is, it's just absolutely phenomenal that you guys do this and you're committed to doing that on a consistently ongoing basis.
You know, it was interesting that back a year ago, when the pandemic took over all of our days, we had a very robust live events department. So we prided ourselves on meeting you, the pharmacist, and others in the healthcare continuum, right where you were going, conferences, dinner meetings, etc. So we probably hosted 5 live events every single day up until a year ago. And then when the pandemic hit and we had to lock down, we had to pivot quickly, and we converted all the live events into virtual events virtually overnight. So being nimble, as you spoke to, and having that ability to respond quickly, we were put to the test a year ago, and we took everything in-house. We did everything virtual. I will say some of the first work looked a little rough because, we had to quickly convert, but it didn't take long to dress it up a little bit and put some marketing flair in there and really showcase virtual offerings at its best.
It's just so phenomenal to see that. And again, for such a large organization to do this so quickly. And it really does speak volumes to how committed you guys are to really serve your end user, because, people still need that information even more so, especially in a time when there's so much uncertainty, when there's new laws and regulations, when there's new guidelines, when there's a whole new pandemic that no one's ever faced before. And everyone's coming to us, the pharmacist. What do I do? Because while it is such a gift and responsibility to be so accessible to our patients and really other healthcare providers as a part of that team, it also is a tremendous burden because we are expected to have those answers from an unbiased source, from things that are in the best interest of patient care instead of an ulterior agenda. So I think that in and of itself, like you said, we were tested. You were absolutely tested, both in how you delivered media, but in also the information and quality of information. And again, as a consumer, with that other lens on rather than a creator, that's something that you guys did, is you would bring in experts to address those real issues, how to deal with those things. And all the time, you would have physicians and pharmacists and professors speaking on your channel. I had the honor to do a series of how to handle the mental burnout that so many pharmacists were going through, how to, keep it together during this time when everything seemed to be falling apart. And it's just such an amazing thing to see. And it really does speak volumes. And when we talked about this before we started recording, how walking the talk is the ultimate test of the real intentions of a brand. And another reason that I was so excited to get you guys on the podcast to share what you've been doing so that people can get kind of a behind the curtain of what, the Wizard of Oz has been doing and all the magic that you guys are creating in so many different media outlets for the pharmacy profession. And
I will tell you that one of the things that goes back to this the pandemic days, this past year, we probably averaged a million, 2 page views, unique page views on our site on a regular basis. And with the pandemic, we peaked at close to 4 to 5 million page views, unique page views on a regular basis. So people knew about us. People do know about us. People, when needed, in a time of great need for information and real-time information. We were there for everyone, and the numbers speak to how we were able to respond, giving them the information, practical information. Again, we're not peer-reviewed, and we don't want to be peer-reviewed, but we do take summaries of people's research and print it on our site, share it on our social media. And with the traffic that we generate, different kind of traffic than you see in peer-reviewed journals, we're able to help people get their message out quickly and to a broader audience through our social media and our digital platform.
Yes, it's such a real testament to a brand's integrity, I feel. And I'm going off script here, but I'm gonna get on my soapbox real quick. But whenever you're faced with adversity,
I'm gonna do that in a little bit too. Yes.
But no, it's such a testament because whenever adversity strikes, there's a few options. You can cower and run away and no one would blame you because, hard times. Or you can answer the call that no one would expect you to, but it really sets the standard for what you're about. And that really is a testament to a brand's integrity, an organization's function, and what they're there to do. And if you have that focus of how can we serve as a unit to our end consumer, especially in their time of need, when we've never faced this, when we don't know what's going to happen, and when we don't have any plan, but we have the desire, we have the passion and the calling to figure it out, that's really what innovation is. And that's a core value that's been instilled to me. I went to University of Pittsburgh School of Pharmacy, and that's our core values: leadership, innovation, and excellence. And that idea, that seed was planted long ago, but I think it really comes out in people when they are faced with those things that they don't feel prepared for. But again, it's a testament to what an organization is really doing behind the scenes. And I say this all the time, it's what you do in practice, in private, that when you get the call, you're going to be rewarded for in public, because you're going to be displaying those skills, those due diligences that you've been working on to pretty much prepare yourself for the unknown. And that's exactly what PharmacyTimes has done. So I give you my soapbox because I just wanted to.
Well, thank you for that. I look at PharmacyTimes not only as a resource for the practicing pharmacist, the student pharmacist, the technician, but we're also an avenue where those same audience can participate and contribute within our four walls, if you will. So we offer pharmacists, student pharmacists, technicians the opportunity to write content and contribute to our publication. We accept and work with people to create video content. We interview students on a regular basis. Today, in the competitive world of pharmacy, where jobs, a good job is something that you want to get, you need to differentiate yourself. You need to know how to market yourself.
Yes.
And we have those tools and the offerings where you could come to us and provide content, both written and or video, and have that on your resume to differentiate you as you look for opportunities in the world of pharmacy. And we do consultation too. We help people all the time. I'm in charge of all their external relationships within the company. So navigating through the world of pharmacy and in all the different places is really been an adventure, meeting and getting to know people in all aspects of pharmacy. You talk about pharmacy networking. Well, you and I have become networkers supreme because, you have a well-known brand. I represent a well-known brand. And when we go into a room, that people look at the name badges, and we're the kind of people that they seek to talk to because we offer opportunities, help them to differentiate themselves. We give them a depth and breadth of experience to truly make them a healthcare professional. So, I get up in the morning, and what motivates me is that I can make a difference in this profession of pharmacy. And that in itself is just energy. I get called the Energizer Bunny all the time. I'm always on the go, but I'll tell you what, I am a pharmacy geek. I self-proclaimed pharmacy geek. And if I can help someone in the world of pharmacy in whatever way, shape, or form, if we can help to make the profession better, and that's what we do at PharmacyTimes, my days are full and rewarding because I'm able to participate in that. It's just amazing.
So this is super fascinating, guys. And it's funny because while this podcast episode, this series of Behind the Brand is about brands, we're actually going meta here because that's literally what my purpose is through my journey through the Fit Pharmacist, is helping pharmacy students and pharmacists build and script their personal brand to be their competitive edge in such a competitive industry. But I hope you guys caught that little soundbite nugget from our friend here, who basically gave an open call, whether you are a pharmacist or a pharmacy student looking to develop your personal brand, they have opportunities to help you do just that. And that's where I started my relationship, first as a consumer with PharmacyTimes, but then I became a writer for several articles throughout the years. And then it came to doing video content, coming to your studio, helping you guys develop your podcast. And here we are full circle talking about this. But I hope you guys caught that. And I will have in the show notes contact information for Dr. Cohen here on how to get involved if you're looking to contribute either an article or video content or maybe even an interview on their podcast. So I hope you guys have been listening, because there is value all throughout PharmacyTimes, both in the publication and in this podcast about it. So thank you for that, because that is awesome. Again, you guys are walking the talk by offering these sorts of opportunities.
Now, I'll tell you, along those lines, for pharmacists to truly be able to grow and assume additional responsibility in patient care services, something has to give.
Yes.
So roles and responsibilities have to evolve and change for the pharmacist to be able to move away from fulfillment and take on a new role and responsibility. So we have embraced the role of the technician. We've created a whole new line of business around the pharmacy technician, a new publication, PharmacyTimes for the technician. We have a resource center on our website for the technician, education to support their ongoing training and certification so that they can grow into a true professional, a career path as opposed to just a job. So helping the pharmacist on the one side, really embracing the role and the responsibility of the technician is near and dear to us as well, because we need to help move that needle of pharmacy. And to do that, we have to embrace the technician as well. So it's students, it's technicians, it's pharmacists. And I've actually gone so far as to say we address the pharmacy staff. Business development people clobber me all the time because they don't like the fact that they like to talk about the pharmacist and the role of the pharmacist, but it's a whole team effort now.
Absolutely. I agree 10,000%.
Especially with COVID and the immunizations that we're providing, giving technicians the opportunity to truly have an active role in the immunization process is important. And it's really provided really a focal lens on the technician and the technician's role.
I agree so much with what you said. And I'm going to steal your soapbox back real quick and jump up on mine, because as pharmacists, we have tremendous role and responsibility for our patients, for staying up to date with everything. But one of the core things, we talked about innovation, we talked about advocacy, but another core value is leadership. And while you absolutely have to do the work behind the scenes on yourself as a leader, both with your skills and how to manage, influence, and interact with other people, I feel that the strongest calling, responsibility, but even more so, the fulfillment, is to help instill those skills and develop your staff. And a lot of people say, like, well, what makes a good leader? How do you become a good leader? And I'm going to tell y'all real talk real quick. And this is my belief. It is not about the awards. It's not about getting more degrees than a thermometer. That ain't going to make you no leader. What a leader is if you're able to equip and train your staff, whether they're pharmacists, interns, students, technicians, whoever, if you're able to equip them to the point where when you're not there, they're able to function efficiently, that's what a leader really is. If your staff is able to function without needing you because you've equipped, trained, and empowered them to a level that they can be self-sufficient, that's what leadership's all about. Now, obviously, you need a pharmacist in a pharmacy for legal reasons and so forth, but you guys know what I'm saying. And that requires a lot, because leadership, in my opinion, is the hardest thing that you can do. It's something that is never achieved. It's something that's always progressed. And the more we learn we don't know. So I think it's absolutely essential and a component of being a pharmacist. And I applaud you guys again. I think I've given you guys like 15 applause on this episode alone.
We're big fans of each other here, I can assure you. If I may piggyback on what you're saying, in order to become a leader, you have to be able to take a risk. You've got to put yourself out there, and you have to, allow yourself to go into the unknown, allow yourself to take that risk, and if you make a mistake, own up to it and learn from it and just keep moving on. I mean, I assure you that I didn't wake up back in the 70s as a pharmacist. I had a single vision of my career. And halfway through my career, my vision was realized and it was gone. And I had to reinvent my entire self. I went back and got my PharmD, by the way.
Yes.
25 years to the day that I got licensed as a pharmacist. Wow. I graduated with my PharmD, walked across the stage and got my diploma. I can't say that, most people can't say 25 years to the day, but my license hanging on the wall here and my diploma for my PharmD both have the same date, 25 years apart.
That's awesome.
So, I pride myself, number one, doing exactly what you say. Walk the walk, talk the talk. And, in this role and the responsibilities that I have as a leader at PharmacyTimes, I take it personally to make sure that we provide that level of information and education for the practicing pharmacist. Now, we are also moving into health systems, and we're raising the bar internally first for the type of content that we want to provide, because we know that the world has changed. Many of the practicing health system pharmacists are all board certified, so we need to have content. Our articles need to meet their needs, and our education has to meet their needs, and it has to meet their certification to help them support that board certification. So again, as the world continues to grow, evolve, and change, here we are. We have to have a finger on the pulse and grow, evolve, and change right with the world of pharmacy.
I love that so much. And first off, congratulations for being committed lifelong as a pharmacist for the profession and innovating. And again, guys, so many people like, oh, I went to school already. Like, that's done. I don't want to go back. It's one thing to say it'd be nice, but it's a whole other thing to change someday into today and really act on that passion. And that really is the test, is are you actually doing what you say you want to do? So congratulations on doing that 25 years later and still looking at how can I get better? How can I improve? And honestly, your journey and your commitment to pharmacy, this isn't related to pharmacy, but the concept is, it reminds me of Michael Jordan, literally, arguably the best basketball player of all time. And people asked him all the time, Michael, what is it? Is it God-given talent? What makes you so much more exceptional than everybody else? And he says, it's not talent, it's not grit. It's holding myself to a standard that is so high, no one else could possibly comprehend it. And that's exactly what you're doing for not only your career, but for the profession and innovating that. You hold yourself to a standard that no one else would even consider or try to put on anybody else, because you just know that there is so much more to learn, to grow from, and give in that process. Because as a Phi Delta Chi brother, shout out to my brethren, each needs the help of the other. And we all rise together. A rising tide lifts all ships. So having a commitment to that is, again, a core element that I have seen in the 10 plus years that I've been following PharmacyTimes, both as a consumer and now as a content creator. So just absolutely phenomenal. And you're reeking integrity. Like, it's just, I love it. It's really refreshing.
That's what brought me to PharmacyTimes, because they mirror how I would see the world, and what their end product, their end products represent to that level of integrity as well. So, and then, we're not selfish. We're willing to share the spotlight. We're willing to bring folks in and, create voices in pharmacy as yourself. I mean, I have to hand it to you. I sit every day and wonder just how much work it takes to be the influencer that you are. So I watch you and others that are pharmacy influencers, and the fresh content that you put out every single day. And you started with nothing. You got a degree in pharmacy and you had a little dream, and you went off and created this magic. It's amazing. Absolutely amazing. So I take my hat off to you. I sit there and I say, well, maybe someday I'll be the bucket list pharmacist, and put together, what is it that we have to do in the little bit of time that we have left, So it's kind of funny, but.
Thank you very much. That's an extremely kind compliment. And yeah, I'm at a loss for words. I didn't expect that, but I appreciate the kind words. But it's not just me, it's a lot of other people. And that's the other thing is nobody gets far by themselves. And I've done several pieces on this concept that self-made is made up. It's always a team of people because it's not about you. And you are not the person. You might be the face, you might be the voice, but there are a lot of people behind the scenes that help make this happen. Mentors, employment opportunities, all of those sort of things, preceptors, students, colleagues, you name it, the list goes on. And if I can give back and help just one person, it truly makes it worth it. I know that sounds cliche, but it means the world. And I travel the world as a professional speaker to pharmacy schools, organizations. And when I give, the talk, there could be 5,000, 6,000 people in the room. But if I have just one person come up and tell me a story of, one piece of content, or they sent me a DM 3 years ago and I took the time to talk to them, it really made a difference. That made all that travel, all those hours of, writing and rewriting my speech and practicing all that, that made it worth it. So yeah, I agree 100%.
We have such capabilities at Pharmacy Times for our print and our digital, our editorial teams. I get to be this face of pharmacy only because I have this monster machine behind me that supports me in every which way. I mean, everything you could possibly think of, from print, video, digital, they're all back there. And in my career, my independent community days, my grocery days, and my Walgreens days, teamwork is all, you're again correct. It's not about the one, it's about the team. And you're only as good as your team is, and you got to build those teams and put the team together. At Pharmacy Times, we promote that. We live that internally. I mean, the company internally supports us to strive to be better and be at our best all the time. And then externally from the company, we support programs to recognize pharmacists that do exceptional things out in the community. We have our Next Generation Pharmacist Award program, where we recognize people throughout all aspects of pharmacy, from lifelong leadership to health systems, technicians, community practice, rising stars. We address everyone. We have 11 different categories. And it's kind of a fun thing. I've been a judge for years, and reading those stories that are submitted for that award program, it really just brings you back to your roots, to what people are really doing in practice. It's how innovative and how much we as pharmacists truly care about our patients and the practice that we're in. We as pharmacists have a lot of opportunities, payer issues and managed care issues and other things, staffing issues. I mean, there's a whole array of issues in the profession that we could talk about ad nauseum. But at the end of the day, I've never met a pharmacist that doesn't rise up to the challenge and overcome the barriers, looks at the barriers as opportunities to grow and evolve. And when you do something like that, that's the kind of person we want to come to Pharmacy Times and tell their story. We want to be able to share that with our broader audience in their community.
I absolutely love what you said, especially because we're talking about pharmacy and being in social media. And I mean, you guys know, like, there's pharmacy pages that are super, quote, successful, 100,000 fan follows on Facebook, but it's all like a complaint fest. And yes, I'm not going to be a blind optimist. We definitely face adversity, no question, in every area. But I love what you said, is you called them opportunities instead of problems. And that might seem like just a word change, but it really is an attitude. And having leadership that has that focus, again, not being blind optimists, there are things that need addressed, but looking at that as opportunities, because that is a space that needs improved upon. That is the attitude that is going to drive innovation in pharmacy. That's the attitude that's going to drive advocacy to get pharmacists at that provider status that we rightfully deserve and are working for. That is the attitude that makes the change we wish to see in pharmacy. And to have such a huge publication that is just making so much headway, to have that attitude, that was the gem for me. That was the gem of this entire interview, that was there, because you probably didn't even do it consciously because it's so ingrained and that's how you work. So that makes me excited.
Well, you know what? Let me finalize with a couple of quick thoughts. First of all, thank you for the opportunity to be here today. I didn't expect to talk so much about myself. I expected to talk more about PharmacyTimes and the brand, but thinking about our time together, I can attest that I think we were talking about PharmacyTimes,
yes,
and the brand and what we represent to the practicing pharmacist, be it my story or the articles and the content that's in the publication itself. It's the same story, because we're telling the story of everyday pharmacy practice, and we're working diligently to advance practice, giving all of us the chance to realize our dream, take care of our patients, have some fun doing it, make a difference. And I really thank you today for all that you do for pharmacy, and the message that you carry, and the platform that you offer for pharmacy, and for having me here today and letting me represent PharmacyTimes.
This was honestly just such an incredible honor. And this was outstanding. I'm going to personally listen to this again, just because you gave so much insight and inspiration. And this is part of why I did this, is to get the message of the brand out to people who feel like, can I do this? Will I make a difference? Yes, you just have to keep going. And I think that that's exactly the message that you shared. So thank you for your time, for all that you do for pharmacy and PharmacyTimes, because it really does all start with you. Guys, this is Dr. Adam Martin of the Fit Pharmacist Healthcare Podcast, signing off with the Ed Cohen of PharmacyTimes. Go forth, be great, and dispense your full potential.
I see my victory so clear. I see my victory so clear. It's a day.